Hey guys, welcome back to the Gears and Tool channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at the top 10 things that you can do to prepare yourself for an emergency that are totally free. I want to quickly say that every person's situation is unique, and this top 10 list is meant to serve as a starting point to get you thinking about how to prepare for an emergency. One of the reasons I'm making this video is I see a lot of content on YouTube where people are gear shaming others, trying to sell you the latest knife, bug out bag, or bunker in an old missile silo under the cornfields of Iowa. The important takeaway of this video is the actions that can save your life are totally free and you can do them right now. So let's get started. Number 1, develop a plan. There is a quote that I really like: failing to plan is planning to fail. It's so true, so it's number 1 on our list. Consider the likely emergencies that your household could experience and get a basic plan in place. Remember to consider scenarios that would require you to shelter in place, such as bad weather, power outages, or a pandemic, as well as scenarios where you would need to quickly leave, such as a forest fire, hurricane, or even a house fire. Do you know where the nearest medical hospital or public shelter is in your community? Buildings such as schools, hospitals, and stadiums are built to more stringent building codes to ensure that they can survive many natural disasters that normal structures or homes just can't. Also, these locations are typically first to receive support. Number 2, communicate. Once you have a plan, you need to communicate it with all that are involved with the plan, such as your spouse, kids, and out-of-town friends and relatives that you might plan to stay with in the event of the evacuation. Remember, a written plan only works if people know about it and agree to use it. For example, I have a friend who recently asked his daughter what she would do in case of a large fire in the kitchen. Do you know what she said? She said, "I would go and hide in my bedroom closet." That was a conversation that definitely needed to happen. Number 3, create an evacuation plan with 2 locations, one outside your house and the second outside of your neighborhood. What routes would you take? Is there anything that could easily become an obstacle if the structure was damaged? It's smart to plan 2 routes for each location. Do you have any medical supplies that you depend on? It might be a good idea to keep some in a separate location. Do you have any young children? Who would make sure that they get to safety? Do you have any pets? Who would make sure that they get to safety? Is everyone aware of the plan? If not, it might be a good time to practice it in a fun way. Number 4, create a shelter-in-place plan. Sometimes the safest thing to do in an emergency is to shelter in place where basic needs such as a roof, food, and water are available. Do you know where you have extra blankets, flashlights, and batteries? It's a lot harder to find things in the dark. It's a good idea to have a central location where you can keep important items. Are there alternative ways to heat your home? For example, if you have a wood fireplace, where do you keep the wood? Is it somewhere where it would stay dry? Are there alternative ways to cook? Make sure that things like camp stoves are easy to find, or you keep enough propane for your barbecue handy. If you have a gas range, make sure you have a lighter so you can ignite it, as the igniters won't work with no power. Are there any additional water sources in your house? Don't forget that your hot water tank holds 40 to 50 gallons. Something that we used to do growing up is when a big storm was coming in, we'd fill up all the bathtubs in the house. You should plan to have at least 2 gallons of water for each person in your household per day. So for 48 hours, you would need a minimum of 16 gallons. Number 5, get organized. In an emergency, when you are under stress and trying to work with limited time or resources, it helps to know where things are and that they are ready to go in a moment's notice. Simple things like having a printed emergency contact list by the phone, knowing where flashlights, batteries, and blankets are, and a few bags of critical things packed, ready to go. You may only have a few moments to get everybody to safety. Make sure to include in your bag copies of important documents in a waterproof bag or container. This should include copies of your IDs, insurance paperwork, emergency contact list, and a list of medical prescriptions your family members may need. You might consider, instead of a go bag, keeping some items in a separate location, such as your shed, your car, a neighbor's place, or even at work. The lighter you can travel, the better. Give the members of your household a card with the following information: their full name, their address, the home number, and a couple emergency contact numbers. This is to make sure that someone can get a hold of the right people if the family member ever needs help. Remember, their phone may not be working or they may not be conscious. Make it easy for someone to get in touch with the right people. Number 6, develop a backup communication plan. It is common for internet and cell service to go down during regional disasters. Would you and your loved ones know how to contact each other? How would this be done? By leaving notes, a radio, a satellite phone? Make sure that people know where they can find these notes and what channels the radio should be set to. Keep in mind that sometimes you can reach parties outside of the affected area and leave messages for them to pass along. How would you handle a situation to let someone know it's not safe to come home? Number 7. Practice. Do you remember how we used to have fire drills in school? Well, there's a good reason for that. The act of doing something helps commit it to memory, especially in times of extreme stress. Do your kids know how to identify the smell of gas and alert others to the hazard? Does everybody know how to use a fire extinguisher and how to use it properly to put out a small fire? Sometimes the best preparation is prevention. Does everybody who needs to know where the first aid kit is located, where the fire extinguisher is located? Number 8. Keep a pair of shoes and a flashlight by the bed in case something happens at night. You spend a large amount of the time that you spend at home in bed, which means it's very likely you'll be in bed when an emergency happens. Make sure you have what you need to address the situation quickly. Number 9. Teach your kids how to contact emergency services. In the event of a medical emergency, they may need to act on your behalf. If you teach them how to do this, it could save your life. Number 10. Get in shape. I know that this one isn't on many preparation guides, but the better shape you are in, the more likely you will be able to help others in need, endure a traumatic event, or make sure that you don't become part of the problem. Also, people who are in better shape can go longer without food and water and can endure more severe weather conditions. Remember, the first rule in Zombieland is cardio. Number 11. Bonus tip. Keep some cash handy. This one is sort of free, but it does involve money, so I'm making it the bonus tip. In a lot of possible scenarios, like a power or communication outage, your debit or credit cards may not be usable. Also, a little money can help get you out of a jam, like if your car runs out of gas or if your identity is stolen while you're traveling. I personally try to carry a minimum of $40 on me at all times, or $200 if I'm traveling outside of my normal area. You can spend it like you normally do, just don't get stuck somewhere with an empty wallet. Alright guys, those were the 10 free things you can do to prepare for an emergency. As you're going through these preparation steps, keep the following in mind. Are there other family members such as elderly parents not in a household? How might this affect your plans? Would you need to assist them? There are many types of emergencies. The most likely ones are not the dramatic topics that you hear in the news, but smaller events that have a more direct impact on your household, such as a house fire, medical emergency, or bad weather, or just bad luck. Keep in mind that things may not go exactly as planned during these times of uncertainty. There could be multiple events happening at the same time, such as road closures, floodwaters, fire, power outage. Try to think about what obstacles you might encounter and how you might overcome them. You won't be able to think of everything, but at least you'll have a couple quick options to consider as starting points during a dynamic situation. That's all guys, and remember, we always hope for the best, but prepare for the worst, just in case. Stay safe, and cheers. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button below. It helps the channel out a lot. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're the first to be notified when I release new videos just like this one. Also, in the video description below, you'll find a link to my Amazon store where you can find recommended products and a list to all my YouTube gear I use to make every video. Cheers!